Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubele, was scheduled to table the outcomes of the Cabinet meeting this morning. That briefing, we're now told, has been cancelled. Government saying that a statement will be issued instead. President Cyril Ramaphosa kicked off a marathon of meetings earlier this week over the energy crisis. For more on this, we're joined by Saftu's General Secretary, Zwelinzima Vavi, joins us via our video link this morning. Zwelinzima, it's great to have you with us on the program. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. I mean, we were all sort of waiting for that Cabinet briefing, weren't we?
We were, but I was not amongst those that was waiting for any anticipation. Or I was not waiting with any anticipation that something progressive, something good, something South African original, and something responding to the crisis is going to come out of any press conference, press briefing by the government in any case. And because we know what we're dealing with here, and I think we must be beginning to be frank with us as South Africans. The leadership have run out of ideas. The leadership have reached a cul-de-sac. They don't know whether they are coming or going. They don't know whether it is dark or blue or white or any other color. They are finding themselves, just like we are finding ourselves under their leadership, in a massive ship in the ocean, and all of our captains are blindfolded, and we are moving towards an iceberg. And our house we're standing outside of is written with bold letters that we are actually entering a failed state, a banana republic, a law of the jungle, survival of the fittest. Working class today, just like yesterday, they slept into darkness. They are waking up into darkness. They are victims of crime. They can't prepare scaftins to go to work. Those that have still have money to buy scaftin, their kids will go to school without anything in the stomach, and they must squeeze the last cent of money that they normally locate for transport to make some cash available for the kids. As we know now, precisely because of the failures of the government, workers are spending 36% of their income on transport. With this load shedding, it means they have to squeeze every little blood out of their bodies to find money. With the decision to increase the interest rates yesterday effectively to 2.5%, which the banks are going to be charging the workers for their bonded houses, for their cars. It will mean more dispossession of their homes, of their cars. It will mean more people lose their jobs because small businesses which have no big credit will find it very hard to cope with the amount of money that they have to pay to the commercial bank.
Yeah.
We are in such a crisis as the country. It's unbelievable that we are wanting to normalize this totally abnormal situation.
I mean, you're painting sort of an apocalypse type situation, but it does feel like that for South Africans and for people in the country, doesn't it? I mean, we've just come out of the COVID-19 crisis, which battered our families, our companies, our economy, and the list goes on and on. We talk about our employment crisis, the load shedding. We saw another interest rate hike just yesterday. I mean, everything that you've just said about this moment that we find ourselves in as a country, I suppose it just makes it worse what the energy minister had to say in that briefing yesterday, when effectively he said, you know, stop complaining. This is not a problem that's unique to South Africa.
Exactly. And you say, and by the way, this is another element we were seeking to condemn. Yesterday, in darkness, opportunistically, they were trying to yet again hand over such an essential services as energy, electricity, to the private hands. They announced that they are signing 3 bids to the IPPs. 3 IPPs will now be brought in fray. But everybody knows that even if we don't agree with that politically, ideologically, those IPPs can only make a difference in the next 2 years. meaning that between now and the end of 2024, somewhere there, we will still be experiencing this relentless, aggressive load shedding by the government and led by this current CEO, helpless lawyer who have been thrown way out of what he can be able to do. The engineer job cannot be learned overnight. You need to go to school for 6-7 years and get your master's and possibly your PhD on the questions of engineering in order to run effective ESCOM, because they are so enslaved to the master's race. They are prepared to let this CEO, which have driven more load shedding than any other previous CEO in the past, to continue to do so. They can't even agree amongst themselves whether it should not be shown the door, because more importantly, it is they are pointers of that helpless CEO who should have resigned to say to South Africans, sorry, we failed you. Overall, the situation we face would have required a president himself having cut his trip short from going to make another racial meaningless speech in the United Nations, to come and have a press conference and take questions from the journalists and make them to hold him accountable. He can't face the journalists. He can't take any of their questions. He wanted to give that to the minister in the presidency, and I guess that they can't even agree on what must happen, or what a shame to South Africa.
Yeah, certainly. Zwelinzima Vavi, thanks for your time this morning. Thanks for weighing in on this really wide, broad-ranging discussion. Saftu's General Secretary, they're talking about all things load shedding at this moment we find ourselves in as a country. That post-cabinet briefing, which was scheduled for this morning, we're told has now been cancelled, and we will get a statement from government instead. Of course, we're looking out for that statement.